When it comes to sport bikes, they either age like milk or they age like a fine wine. Aside from, freaking squids. Okay, yeah, that guy's riding his race bike. Oakley dokley. Let's see what this motorcycle's got under the hood. Yep, that's fast! Alrighty, ninja checklist. Am I ready to ride this motorcycle? Let's see here. I had a Monster Energy drink for breakfast. I'm wearing street gear. I've got a lap timer on my phone. And most importantly, we're playing Trivium. Yeah, I think we're good to go. Okay. Time to talk about the ZX6R today. Some of you may have seen my Tuono first ride. And Yam had some feedback for me, mostly that I said, bike go fast, and he was concerned that there wasn't enough feedback on the actual motorcycle. So today, I'm going to provide you more feedback about the motorcycle as I see it. It is a beautiful day, and we are out here on Lime Creek, which is a very common place to see a motorcycle like this, often ridden by a street squid wearing a full suit with a lap timer on his dashboard for some reason. We're not actually going to be doing that today, and it might annoy some of you to see me basically being in first and second gear the whole time, but that's the life that you live when you get a ZX6R as your street bike. But I can say that I enjoyed my ride in here, and I'm having fun on this motorcycle. But we are going to talk about some of it because it's not a perfect package, in my opinion. Remember, I think by the time this video goes live, we are still running the promotion where you can enter Kawasaki on merch.yammynoob.co and shop.yammynoob.co. Get yourself a discount, but if you buy a helmet, you'll get your entries maxed out for the month. So check and see if all that's still running. Link in the comments down below. This is a giveaway motorcycle. You can get entered to win this very ZX6R and run down Lime Creek yourself in your own suit with a lap timer trying to determine if you're the fastest boy going down Lime Creek. Don't do that. Don't actually do that. But do get entered to win. Click the links down below. Okay, that out of the way. Let's talk about one thing that I'm not a huge fan of on this motorcycle, and that's the looks. Now, when it comes to sport bikes, they either age like milk or they age like a fine wine. You think of something like the Yamahas, old Yamahas, they still look really cool. The pre-2009 R1 still looks great. I love the look of the old R6s, the kind of waspy look. Mostly because they didn't do this on their motorcycles. Kawasaki, for lack of, maybe a better styling team, has really stuck with this, aggressive Mountain Dew Monster Energy drink look. And it's very polarizing, I would say. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of rolling around on this motorcycle. It really does present an image to other people. Sport bike riders are like, yeah, okay, 636, you're having a lot of fun, you're going to the track and all that stuff. Normies are like, oh, you're a sport bike boy, you're probably going to get a speeding ticket around the next corner. And I think nothing says that louder than the Ninja colorway, the green, and again, just the, 90s, 80s, 90s Ninja logo right there. They've really stuck with it, Kawasaki has. You got to give them credit, but I don't know. It's not the look that I would get. If I was going to get a motorcycle like this, there's a lot of bikers out today. If I was going to get a bike like this, I'd want it in like all black, or I'd want it in all white, honestly. Nice flat colors. If it was a Yamaha, it's got to be blue, right? That basically sums up my issues with it that we can talk about standing still. So why don't we get out on the road and do a little bit more talking about it. But while I put my gear on, you guys can get some lovely, lovely sound clips, because one thing that I cannot fault this motorcycle for is the sound. I really adore the Inline 4 soundtrack, and it's I mean, it's a classic sport bike note, right? It's so cool. I love that sound. All right, away we go. Okie dokie. Now, sticking with the looks just a little bit, the look down in the cockpit is perhaps not the most impressive. This is a 2016. It's got some miles on the clock, so it has aged a little bit. But I don't know. I don't love the look down out of most Ninja cockpits. They don't do it for me. I don't like the way the mirrors are shaped. I don't really like the fake, like, carbon fiber stuff that they put in on that black panel right there under the levers. I don't know. The look down doesn't do it for me. I think maybe if we cleaned it up a little bit, dusted it a bit, it might look better, but I'm not sure it's gonna suddenly become the look that I want, you know? The one thing that is really cool on this bike, though, and I love that, you know, 600s all do this, is the giant tachometer right in your face. And there's a fun little note on this motorcycle, which I will point out once I get through this corner, is if you look down at the bottom, right by that ABS light, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it says 0, 1, 2, 3, and all those hash marks are super duper close together. And it's not till 4 you actually start seeing some spacing between the numbers. So Kawasaki's basically like, you're never gonna be that low, dude. Like, if you are, why? You're riding the bike wrong. Get it up here. Which I kind of appreciate that, you know, it's just a fun note. Now, let's get off the looks and talk about the bike itself, how I fit and feel on it. And I fit great on this bike. There's a lot of room on the seat if you want to move back, but then you're really reaching for the bars, and I don't find that comfortable. So I actually sit, you know, really far forward on the seat, and even still, the seat's pretty nice and wide. A lot of room to just kind of sit and cruise. I mean, it's freaking paper thin, so it's not fun to sit on for hours and hours at a time. But I mean, you're really not supposed to be sitting in the seat anyway. You're supposed to be leaning off, so I understand why it's perhaps not the most comfortable place to sit. Ergonomics-wise, I think the R6 is more aggressive than this bike is. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a minute since I've ridden an R6, but I'm pretty sure that the R6 sits more aggressively. Maybe they're very similar. I honestly don't remember, but I've been spending so much time on sport bikes lately because we had, you know, the RSV4 and we've had the CBR 1000 Triple R and all these big fancy sport bikes rolling through the shop. And to be honest, I'm kind of like, I'm just in a place where the ergonomics don't bug me anymore. I've got a lot more seat time in it, and a lot of times when you get somebody who's unfamiliar with super sport ergonomics, they feel really uncomfortable, you know, just guiding the motorcycle through, especially at slow speeds. And I've gotten a lot more used to this style of motorcycle a lot lately, so I think that's helping me feel just a lot more comfortable on this bike than I might otherwise be. And, you know, part of me is also like, it's a 636, I'm supposed to suffer a little bit if I'm riding it on the street. That's kind of the point. So, as far as ergonomics go, is it the worst thing ever? No, that's the CBR 1000 Triple R. But, is it, you know, comfortable for more than 45 minutes? No, it's really not. You know, you're meant to just kind of ride it for a session and then get off and check your lap times and see where you can make up time, and then go back out, check your pressures and all that stuff, and then go back out, test your new lap time and all that good stuff. It's really not meant to do what I'm currently doing on it. I would have a lot more fun on something like, I don't know, a Z900. It's a little bit more torque down low and all that stuff. And obviously, way more comfortable. But let's talk about the torque a little bit on this motorcycle. Because that's actually one thing... That's one thing that has surprised me a bit about this bike, is the torque. I guess those extra 36 cubes really helped make this motorcycle more rideable on the street. I've got it in the full power mode, I assume. I assume F is full and L is low. It's got, I mean, as far as torque down low for a 600, yeah, it's got plenty. The R6 is beyond gutless down low. It is so slow off the line. This thing, it's a lot more rideable on the street, I suppose, in terms of the power band. I'm not talking ergonomics anymore. It's a usable, well, more usable power band. You still really, I mean, to get to the 131 horsepower, it comes in at 13,500 RPM, which is way the hell up there. Like, honestly, okay, I'm down in first gear at, 40 miles an hour, and what, I'm at 8,000 RPM. That ain't even close to what this bike's got. Honestly, if I really wanted to, I could ride this motorcycle all the way down Lime Creek in first gear completely comfortably. The only reason I shift up to second and third gear is just mechanical sympathy, but then I have to remind myself that I'm on a 600, and there is no such thing as mechanical sympathy for a 600, because you're meant to just rev the tits off this bike all the time. Yeah, I mean, you're always meant to be banging it off the limiter. So, I mean, it's really a silly motorcycle to ride on the street, guys. It's totally silly. But, with that being said, I understand why some people might consider this a street bike, a fun thing to have for a weekend ride, because, again, as far as 600s go, it's got more power for the street, which is what you want. And then, I mean, it's not the worst place to sit. It's damn near, but, I don't know. You could have fun with this thing. Man, grabbing gears down is always a lot of fun on 600s like this. I really found that out when we were riding the R6 around. Grabbing gears down, ton of fun. Now, another thing that I'm noticing, and this is due to this motorcycle, I don't think it's a 636 problem, and if it is, I'd be shocked, but this motorcycle, I believe it's got an imbalance in the front wheel. It's got the OEM rubber, so what I assume happened is when the previous owner sold it to the dealership, it had, low tread life left, because the guy, spent his tire budget on Monster Energy, or maybe it was Bang Energy. Bang makes green energy drinks, right? Or is it's Volt. Do they still make Volt energy drink anymore? I don't know. Anyway, the guy was too hopped up on caffeinated liquids to spend any money on his on his tires, so the dealership put new rubber on, and it's got a bit of a wobble, and it gets pretty pronounced. I mean, it's not like unsafe. I've ridden bikes with way worse front end wobble, but I think it's probably maybe like a couple of maybe like a gram or two out of balance. Not by much. Probably one or two wheel weights will solve that problem. But I know Yam wants to get better rubber on it for when he takes it to the track, so that problem will solve itself. Another issue that I'm noticing, because it's a used motorcycle, is the brakes are not feeling so good. They have some caramel colored fluid in there. A brake bleed will infinitely help the stopping power on this motorcycle, or at least the feel, because it's a little bit numb right now. But talking of stopping power, let me do this here real quick. plenty of stopping power out of the brakes on this bike. Now, let's take a quick second and talk about, what are you doing, Mr. Propane Man? Oh, he's letting me through. Thank you. Yeah, so let's talk a quick bit about the tech package on this motorcycle, because it has some. The ride modes. Why do you have ride modes on a 600? Why? What is the point? Just give it full power. There, job done. You never need you can just remove the mode switch on here. The KRT traction control? Okay. I'm good with that. You know, a couple of levels of traction control. It's probably not super duper important until you really start pushing it. But, you know, it's better to have traction control and not need it than need it and not have it. So, alright, fine. I'm not sure if this motorcycle just doesn't have ABS, or if it does and the dongle is in there removing the ABS unit, because I can't get that light to turn off. Maybe I just don't know enough. Usually there's like a secret button that you have to push on these bikes to turn ABS off, so maybe I just haven't found it. That's the high beam switch, so that's not what that guy is. But yeah, it's got some pretty basic technology. I really don't think you want that on this motorcycle. Again, aside from freaking squids. Okay, yeah, that guy's riding his race bike. Those are the kind of guys who want this bike right here. That's for sure. I don't remember what I was talking about. Technology. Me, I don't care on this motorcycle. I really don't. So let's start wrapping up my thoughts on this motorcycle before I start rambling too much. And we are heading towards a toll road. I will give you some Kyle mode energy towards the end. So stay tuned for that if you care. But yeah, what do I think about the ZX6 after spending, you know, about an hour and a half on it? I'm having fun on this motorcycle, I'm not gonna lie. I have gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? I understand what this motorcycle is meant to do. I understand that it's not meant to be ridden the way that I like to ride it. So I now put forth the effort to engage with this motorcycle on its terms. And I think when you really start doing that, these 600s become a lot more fun. And one of the things that we might do, depending on how our schedules all shake out and so forth, is get me on this motorcycle on track, because that would be my first time riding a proper super sport on a racetrack. And I think at that point I will be just as qualified as the average YouTube commenter to level my opinions on this motorcycle's track day acumen. But as a daily rider, man oh man, could you find so many more motorcycles that are, you know, just as much fun as this thing. I don't know, you could probably, if you're, let's say you're a beginner and you're like, I want, you know, fun sport bike. Dude, get an R7. I really think that an R7 for the average street weekend rider is going to be a lot more fun than the ZX6R. That being said, you don't get that sound out of the R7. So if that's the sort of thing that you want, you really want that inline 4 soundtrack, which, you know, it's part of the reason why I love the 919 so much, is because it's got that classic inline 4 sound. And by the way, you can see the bars wobble a little bit as I'm rolling. Yeah, it's a front tire imbalance. You know, you could do a lot worse if you want the inline 4 sound. You really could. If it were me and I wanted an inline 4 sport bike that I was going to ride on the street, I wouldn't get the CBR 650R. God, guys, you know, I might have to be a street leader bike boy and get the CBR 1000 RR, because that one is really cool and it's a lot more comfortable than this is. But as far as 600s, sure, why not? I could make the case. You really do want to be riding this bike at a racetrack, though. It makes no sense on the street. But who knows? Maybe I'll be able to race it, or not race it, ride it on the track, and that'll be fun. That'll be a good weekend of slow lap times that Yam will now mercilessly clown me for. I'm sure I'm probably slower than him and Josh. Well, I'm definitely slower than Yam, probably slower than Josh. That guy's got more yeet energy than I do. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Good solid thumbs up from the ZX6R. A fun motorcycle. Not my jam, but I totally get it. I totally understand why somebody would have fun with this. Again, remember, if you want to win this here motorcycle, click those links down in the description below. Get yourself signed up to win, and see if we're still running that helmet deal where you buy yourself a helmet and get your entries maxed out. Any helmet you want, and you get a full month's entries right there, said and done. I'm not sure if most Kawasaki guys ride with a helmet or not. I think that's Jigsaw Squids that typically go without the brain bucket. Kawasaki boys usually have the helmet with the, like, you know, Cookie Monster shag thing on the outside. So we don't sell the shag thing, but you can probably get that on Amazon for a helmet that we sell in the shop. And there you go. Then you get entered to win this motorcycle. You have your Cookie Monster helmet. You're all set to ride this bike on the street. I will catch you guys in the next one. See you later. And Yusaku's probably going to put a nice little pull here at the end for you guys who want to see that. So catch you guys in the next one. See you later. Oakley dokley. Let's see what this motorcycle's got under the hood. Yep, that's fast! I mean, it's a quick bike, don't get me wrong. It's not, I mean, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it's pretty quick. So you could certainly have fun with it. You'd have more fun with it on a racetrack. See you guys later, and I'm glad those guys are working on that instead of me. Get you guys around.